So this has been happening. This started in Massachusetts. Again, for those who are not aware, it's illegal for teachers to go on strike in Massachusetts. But in Woburn, they said, whatever, we're doing it anyway. So this came out the other day. Woburn, Massachusetts. Teachers vote overwhelmingly for strike action as the state threatens retaliation with anti-strike law. This is what I've been trying to warn you guys about as well, that some way they're going to find a way to fight back against these strikes, right? They're going to create laws to make it illegal for you to do this anti-strike law. What's that, Betsy? Sabby, did you see the latest news on the strike? They're striking tomorrow too, and the judge is trying to force them back to work. Yes, I was going to bring that up as well. So let me go ahead. This is from World Socialist website. Teachers in Woburn, Massachusetts voted overwhelmingly for strike action on Friday, setting the stage for a strike Monday morning. So they were out yesterday. The approximately 550 teachers, paraprofessionals, and nurses, members of the Woburn Teacher Association, have been working without a contract since August. So this is the second strike action that I've shown you recently where the employees were working without a contract all this time. That's the problem. Hundreds of educators, students, parents, and other supporters rallied Saturday afternoon in the city's downtown ahead of the planned strike. The Woburn School Committee had filed a petition with the State Department of Labor Relations on January 24th to investigate an illegal strike. Remember what I told you, it's illegal for teachers to go on strike in Massachusetts. Shortly before the Saturday rally began, the school committee announced that the Commonwealth Employment Relations Board had issued a ruling Friday evening mandating the union to cease strike-related activities and resume negotiations. Under reactionary anti-democratic state law, strikes by public sector workers in Massachusetts are illegal. The Behavioral Education Association was fined and paid out $360,000 for a 4-day strike in October and last year by educators in that city. Negotiators for the WTA and the Woburn School Committee resumed talks at 10 a.m. Sunday morning and said that they would be negotiating throughout the day. The most recent agreement between the WTA and the Woburn School Committee was reached in January 2021 and included a paltry 1% pay increase for 1 year. In a statement, the WTA said it was asking for pay increases for education support professionals, smaller class sizes, and twice-a-week physical education classes for elementary school students. The union and the school committee said an agreement was reached between Woburn Public Schools and the WTA in October, but union members did not ratify the contract. The school committee and Woburn Mayor Scott Galvin, who is also a member of the committee, issued a statement on Friday saying that the planned strike for Monday was illegal, disruptive, and unnecessary. I'm sorry, but one of the things that they are fighting for is a pay increase, which it sounds like they're not being paid what they're supposed to be paid. Look, Massachusetts is expensive. And Woburn used to be a lot cheaper to live in, not anymore. Even Woburn's expensive now. This is what I was trying to warn people about with the gentrification. It just spreads. It spreads further and further out. So there's that. But he called it disruptive and unnecessary. If it was unnecessary, they wouldn't be doing it. Seriously? They claimed that a contract proposal made by the school committee on January 18th and rejected by educators is a fair and highly competitive offer that allows for reduced class sizes, additional collaborative professional development, and increased instructional time for students, as well as a generous wage increase. That is in addition to step increases that approximately 50% of educators received at the start of the 2022-2023 school year. Section 9A of the Massachusetts Public Employee Collective Bargaining Law Guide prohibits public employees and employee organizations from striking or inducing, encouraging, or condoning a work stoppage by public employees. All right, Massachusetts, my people in Massachusetts, we need to work on getting this changed. We need to work on getting this changed. I have to look and see who we need to contact about that, because that needs to go. The law states falsely, public employees have no constitutional right to strike. This isn't my state. Guys, we should be livid about this, especially those of you who live here. They have no right to strike, you guys. That's what they're saying. It adds that employees engaged in work to rule in which they abstain in whole or in part from the performance of duties can also be held in violation of the anti-strike legislation. And I want to give a new, not a news flash, but a warning here. Don't be surprised if other states try to do anti-strike legislation as well. Terry said, I'm ready, Sabby. No, for real. Like, that needs to change. Like, I don't know how old that rule is, but that needs to go. Teacher unions in at least 2 other districts have been fined under the anti-strike legislation over the past year. A 4-day strike by teachers in Haverhill in October. The HEA was fined and recently paid over $110,000 to the state for violating a contempt of court order. Brookline teachers were fined $50,000 for a 1-day strike last May. This is where people are putting their resources to. Really? This is crazy. And I want to go to this part because they're going into Haverhill. So I don't want that to get lost with the Haverhill thing. This piece right here. Massachusetts is currently experiencing the 2nd largest wave of pandemic since the beginning of the pandemic, but that Haverhill contract makes no mention of pandemic or teacher and classroom safety, another demand raised by teachers. Throughout the pandemic, the teachers' unions have played a key role in forcing students and educators back into the classroom under conditions where virtually all pandemic mitigation measures have been abandoned, promoting conditions of never-ending sickness, disability, and death for teachers, students, and their families. Teacher union leaders have agreed to sell out contracts in districts across the state over the past year. This includes Boston, Melrose, and Brookline. Despite the determination on the part of the teachers to fight for wage increases, to keep up with inflation and improvements to working conditions and teacher and student safety, the Massachusetts teachers unions have kept educators on the job without a contract for months or even years, and done everything in their power to avoid strike action. It was just a couple of days ago, I told you about the strike, about the Boston Public Schools. They owed back pay to teachers that taught at Boston Public Schools. They said that it came to like what, millions of dollars that they owed these teachers because they didn't make those changes for last year. So now they have to go back and issue retro pay for Boston public school teachers. And now they say the technology isn't working all of a sudden. Surprise, right? So across the board, the public education industry here right now, people are struggling. The teachers are really struggling. And all they're asking for is you to give them what is owed to them. If you got to give teachers back pay, you need to give them back pay. If you didn't give these teachers a new contract, you need to give them a new contract. There's just no excuses for this kind of behavior anymore. These teachers work really hard. I told you guys, to be a teacher in Boston, a lot of times you have to have a master's degree. That's what they prefer, and additional certifications. So they make you have to have all these requirements just to do the job. And then after that, it's like, then they just drop off. You know, it has to be a two-way thing here. Like, you can't expect the teachers to deliver, but then you don't deliver for the teachers. And that's what's been happening. And I have a video I want to show you of them striking here. The mayor of Woburn, by the way, not a nice dude for him to make that statement about these teachers. And you'll see him walking by here As the teachers are protesting, Woburn's mayor walks out of City Hall to a crowd of striking teachers. School has been canceled citywide Monday after no deal was reached between the teachers union and city. That also applied to today as well, guys, because they weren't there today either. But I'll show you who the mayor is. Here we go.
3, 4, Mayor Galvin, shut the door. 5, 6, 7, 8. We just want to negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mayor Galvin, shut the door.
That's him right here. That's the mayor. He's smiling. This guy's not serious.
5, 6, 7, 8. We just want to negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mayor Galvin, shut the door. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4. Mayor Galvin, shut the door. 5.
That's right outside of City Hall. Pay these teachers, man. Pay these teachers. This is just, ay. What not a nice guy. There's another one. I thought there was another one of him. Let me see. I thought there was another one where he said they didn't deserve it or something like that. It's Woburn. Woburn is another town outside of Boston. It's not too far from Boston. Woburn mayor and school committee have begun negotiating contracts for both teachers and paraprofessionals in tandem. This was a big sticking point for the Teachers Association. Both sides report progress, but until a deal is made, teachers say they will continue to strike. I can't play that video because that's number 7. That's 7 News, and local news has copyright, so I can't play that. Is this one not? Okay, this one doesn't have copyright, so I can play this one. I wish I would have known about this ahead of time because I could have driven there.
Shut the door. 5, 6, 7, 8. We want to negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mayor Galvin, shut the door. 5, 6, 7, 8. We just want to negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mayor Galvin, shut the door.
Yeah, so similar chant there. I want to show you where Woburn is so you know what I'm talking about, because some of you are probably like, what is a Woburn? Plus, a lot of the towns in Massachusetts have really weird names. So I'll show you what it looks like on a map. I'll show you where this is located so you'll know going forward. Like, oh, now I know where Woburn, Massachusetts is, man. All right, let me go ahead and share this with you. Like I said, not far from Boston. I know people that live in Woburn, but they also like work in Boston. Like that's not uncommon actually. So this is Woburn's like right here. Come back right there. And if I were to move this around a little bit, let me zoom out so you can see. So Woburn's right here, right there. Right there. So it's right next to Winchester, Stoneham. There's Melrose. And then here's Boston right here. So it's not uncommon for people to live in Woburn, hop on 93 and take the 93 right into Boston for work. It's not as far as it looks. But that's where Woburn is located. And it used to be more of like a working class like neighborhood. But again, like I said, because of gentrification, Woburn is starting to get a bit pricey too, but that's where it's located. Next to Burlington, Lexington, Winchester, Stoneham, Wakefield, and Reading. And then Boston is down there. Boop. Yep, just a little bit of Massachusetts education for you.